because she doesn't have any hair on the sides or on the top, we are going to be using double-sided tape as well, okay? Before I get started on the sew-in, I would like to remind everyone about how you can use either tinted aerosol lace spray, or you can also use lace tint mousse, okay, to make your lace a darker color to match it, you know, for your customer's scalp. So I'm gonna go ahead and just spray. I love the spray because it's just cleaner, easier. All right, so while that is drying, I'm also going to take a cotton pad. I'm going to take some alcohol, okay, and just make sure that I'm simulating a customer. Make sure that the customer's scalp is nice and clean, free of oil. Now, before you did the braiding, of course, you washed her hair really good and all that, right? But then, once you are ready to apply this Phoenix Buddy, you're also going to just make sure that her scalp is free from oil. So I'm going to add the tape to the grip that is inside. Okay, let me make sure that I didn't get any spray on that grip. If you did get spray, just wipe it. I'm going to take a look at the front and make sure that let's take a look and see where this is going to go. Okay, on both sides it should be even, dispersed evenly. First thing I know I want to do is make sure that this is on firm. For now, I'm just going to make a little knot, but when we're sewing, we can sew that together and remove the knot, because imagine if she slept with a knot back there, that would not be comfortable, right guys? Make sure that both sides are even. You can have her tie this around her neck, and then you'll see what we're going to do with the strand. Needles ready to go. We'll sew on the elastic to the simulated braids. I decided that I'm going to make this unit a cross between the Phoenix Buddy and give it a larger crown for more stability. I didn't like the way that little crown was lying on here. It was because it just didn't cover enough. Honestly, it just did not cover enough. So I removed the little crown, and now I'm adding a larger crown, and you can do that. And if you want to order just the crowns alone, you can just call me. And for the Phoenix Buddy, if you want the Phoenix Buddy with the large crown, you could actually order that as well. On the Phoenix Buddy, it'll give you a choice where you can order a larger crown. So yeah, if you like the Phoenix Buddy, which I like because it extends the wings out to the sides, which is real nice, then you can exchange your little crown for a bigger crown if you have more damage than just the very top. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I am because I'm changing the crown myself, so I'm just adding the crown. But if you ordered the Phoenix Buddy with a larger crown, it would already be sewn for you. Okay, I'm just sewing this on myself. Okay, that's what it looks like. It would look like that anyway, but I'm sewing this unit on. I feel a lot more comfortable with this because it is a large area of hair loss. I'm feeling more comfortable covering it with the Weave Buddy. I was looking for a net, but the net is not going to be as strong as the Weave Buddy crown. Okay, so now what I want to do is start connecting these two. Just gently, don't pull on it. Just gently connect them. She has a lot of hair loss. So see how I'm doing kind of like a zigzag motion? It's almost like creating your own net here. It's creating a little zigzag motion. So that they can be connected. You don't want to pull on it. Hello everyone, hello. So earlier I was doing an example of the Phoenix Buddy on a severe female pattern hair loss. The crown was for the Phoenix Buddy was a little small, so I ended up removing this crown and I added a larger crown. This crown is for female pattern baldness. So usually the crowns that I use, the units that I use these crowns on are the Edge and Crown Buddy as well as the Pixie Buddy. Okay, and I recommended the Phoenix Buddy on someone who had this much balding, but the reason I recommended it is because I love how the Phoenix Buddy kind of wraps around here. But I realized that for that particular customer, she needs to have both. So I ended up creating a combination of the Phoenix Buddy with a crown that can be used, the crowns that I use on Edge and Crown and what do you call it, Pixie Buddy. Okay, so right now all I'm doing is that I'm just putting the two together. There is no pulling. Okay, it's just a gentle kind of bringing them together. It's a zigzag pattern that I like to use when I'm teaching my students, and it's not a hard, you're not pulling. Okay, it almost works as a net as well, which is really cool, because when you're adding the hair, you can use that extra zigzag thread for the hair, for the parts where, you know, the balding parts. And then the next thing we're going to do is make the Weave Buddy even, customize the Weave Buddy to fit for an even better fit. Okay, so right now we're just basically putting the crown and the wings part of the Phoenix Buddy together. In the first video that I did when I started adding the Phoenix Buddy part, I connected the larger elastic to the bottom simulated braid. Okay, so there's that, and so now we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and connect the rest of this here. There we go. if I can get this out. Ooh, girl. There we go. And now I am ready to be doing a custom fit for this unit. Let's get this unit really, see how it's puffy right here and kind of loosey-goosey? Let's get it nice and firm, okay? So since there's absolutely no hair up here that we're working with, then what I want to do is just start gathering the lace so that it's taut, okay? So I'm going to gather some lace here, okay? Make a little knot here, then come back over here. Now remember that when I first applied this unit, we did, because she doesn't have any hair in the front, we did do a double-sided tape here, here, and here, okay? So now I want to get this a little more firm. And you see these two can connect together. These are what I call the slits. So you want to close the slits. That gives it an even more tug, just a more customized fit, okay? So there we have it. If for some reason it was buckling, you actually could customize it even more. Spring scissors are perfect for cutting off those little pokey thingies, those little lines. There we go, come on. So, see, when we removed these two lines, then this is able to even become flatter here. See how I did that? So now it's even flatter right there. Invest in some spring scissors. Those are about $19 on Amazon. Get the better ones. Don't get the $7 ones. They don't work, trust me. Get the good ones by Fiskas. Okay, so now this is nice and flat. Gonna do the same thing to the other side. Just kind of gathering so that it's not puffy, okay? If you have any questions, just ask me, okay? So I'm gonna start gathering again from here. Let's see if that's gonna show. I'm gonna do one more knot, okay? And let's gather some of this lace. I just want it to be nice and flat. And as I'm going down, I'm going to close the slit, okay? And if you feel like this needs to be flatter for some reason, like I said before, just remove the little squares in between. You don't remove any of the lines that are going horizontal, okay? You want to remove the ones that go vertical, okay? So it would be this one. But on here, it's flat, so I'm not going to remove that. One more time, let's get this nice and flat. And I'm going to work my way down and go ahead and close this slit. When I'm closing slits, I do go through the little holes, the little squares, but when I'm doing my normal sewing, okay, I use the large squares to put my needle through. I don't use the little squares. When you want a corner to lay flatter, yes, you can put your needle through the little square, because corners seem to lay flatter when you're when you're sewing down on the little squares. Corners seem to lay flatter. Okay. So here we go. And now we're going to be working at the front to really get that to lay flat. So now, see how it's loose here? We're going to get this to be nice and tight here, okay? I'm going to bring this needle in. Starting from the back, I like to start the needles more further back because I find that when you start your needles at the front, the knots tend to unravel. At this point right now, I'm going to go ahead and get a protective paddle, because since I am going to be working, on near her hairline, I don't want to poke her hairline. A lot of people wonder what that protective paddle is for. That's what it's for, is to protect your customers from being poked. So I'm closing this slit, okay? Closing this slit. All right, and then we're gonna go up about 1/4 inch and just start gathering this lace towards the Weave Buddy, the harder material, okay? Gathering this lace. Not too much, because you could accidentally tear the lace, so you don't want to tear the lace. Just gathering, okay? Just gathering. Let me try to bring some of this so it can lay flat. All right. When it's too hard to pull out, use your little needle nose pliers. It'll come right out. Okay. I'm going to work on the other side, but I am going to leave this needle here and start gathering again. So I'm going to bring this back over here to this side. Get a needle, start the needle on the further back. Imagine coming down to Baja, Mexico at my oceanfront headquarters and learning all of my secrets with me. I offer in-person training. So right now I'm just gathering this lace because I want it to be flat. Make sure it's what I call gathering, okay? And then I'll take some more and just kind of start bringing it into the Weave Buddy. I have a really hard grip, so I have to be really careful not to tear my silk. Sometimes what I do is I hold on, I just try to be as gentle as possible to not tear the silk. You see that? You see how it was looser, more loose? Now, I want to check real quick. Right here, I still see that it could be tugged a little more. So we're going to tug it a little bit more. Just a little bit. Back up here. Make sure that I don't tear that. Don't go up too much, and then just make sure you just hold on to it. You see how flat that is? Okay, and then I can go ahead and bring this lace in to the weave buddy. Kind of tugging it in. Okay, see, so now I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Now it's nice and flat here for you, okay? And if you want even more of this bridge taken further back, we can actually replace the bridge with a complete grip. So yeah, so if you wanted to replace this whole thing here with just grip, we can do that too, okay? You can tell me that. There's a lot of room for customization on my units. Now we're gonna finally take these little straps and we're going to tie them in the back and then sew them down. So I have this new unit, it's called the Phoenix Buddy, and I mixed it with a crown, a fuller crown for someone with female pattern balding who wants to do a pixie style, but at the same time I wanted to create a more coverage on the sides. So I combined the Phoenix Buddy with the larger crown. The normal Phoenix Buddy has a small crown, so I removed the small crown and now added a larger crown. Okay, a lot of people say, what do I do with the strands? You take the strands, you tie them in the back, and then you sew them down. Okay, so I'm gonna travel with my needle here and go to this strap, this little strap, and sew it down. Get that needle through there. I'm going to also sew it on to the strap from the Phoenix Buddy. There. And here. Okay, and then on this side I had some leftover needle also. We're going to go ahead and connect this strand. For this demonstration, I am not using the grip band, okay, because I used a lot of grip underneath this unit here. And I did use a double-sided tape, which will be in the private video. I can't keep that video public unless you take my class. You'll be able to have access to where I use the tape. You can only use double-sided tape and the Ghost Bond or any kind of bonding glue when you have had training for it. You don't just want to use. You have to have training for it. People have to explain to you why it's important not to use glue on something that hasn't been completely shaved or completely balding. And you just can't play with that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's why I don't really give out videos that have the glue or the tape. For most cases, You don't need the glue and the tape when you're using the Weave Buddies, but when you have severe alopecia, yes, you do. You're gonna need a little glue and a little tape. Now, this model demonstration here had absolutely no hair. All of this crown area, only right here, I have a simulation of her braids right here. And look how nice this unit is lying. And it's ready to go. It's ready to have a closure, a frontal, even a wig sewn onto this baby. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Love you so much.